Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Yoders Farm. I'm Eldon, and Lowell's here with me again today for another podcast episode. So I guess we're going to kind of talk about what we've been up to, and you mentioned frost protection.
Did I mention frost protection?
You did.
Oh, okay.
When we were talking about things to talk about, so...
Oh, you mean in our pre-podcast meeting?
In our pre-game.
Yeah, which is all of 30 seconds.
It's more like 3 texts.
Oh, yeah. Did you mention we have a live studio audience in case they hear some feedback?
Maybe that should be mentioned, yeah.
Yeah.
Your daughter is here with us, so if you hear a little bit of noise in the background, that's totally fine.
Yeah, so... What'd you say? Frost protection?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe for context, it's April 24th, 2020. Just pop that in there.
Sure enough, April 24th, 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a mild winter and then fairly mild and warm March, which, as we talked about before, pushed things along, speaking of, like the growing season.
Yeah.
And so... that things were accelerated, shall we say. Then we really didn't do much protection.
Frost protection.
Well, not technically frost protection, but winter protection, cold protection. Big parts of our fields didn't even have row covers on through the winter time. And through March, as we had some buds and didn't have to protect for those, and then blooms. I like the studio audience. It's a little distracting.
It is a little bit.
But it's
I doubt they can hear much of it.
Okay, I can hear it. And,
I can too. Yeah.
My train of thought is bad enough anyway.
It's also 8:45 in the evening, so.
So anyway, that kind of changed in April because April has been cool and kind of cloudy and wet. But yeah, we've had 3 or 4 pretty decent frost events in April. So we've had to deploy row covers to parts of the field that didn't have a row cover in it all winter long.
Yeah.
So, and you even got in on the fun.
Just a little bit,
a few nights. That was nice.
Yeah, that was nice.
Nice for me, not for you.
Yeah.
So then the last, for us, was pulling up the date, we had probably our worst one was Saturday night, Sunday morning, which would have been April 19, would have been Sunday morning. It got down to right around 30 degrees at my house. So it was cold.
Yeah, it was.
Very, very frosty, and it's just a heavy frost. The little corners and pieces of the field where the covers didn't reach and so forth, they sustained quite a bit of damage. I mean, we were pretty much covered, but sometimes there's little edges or ends or something that didn't get covered quite well. So anyway, I'm glad we were covered up. The covers did their jobs. The one bad part about row covers, there are disadvantages and advantages to both kinds of frost protection methods we've talked about before. The overhead water, that has the advantage in that you don't have to put all the covers on and pull them all off. Bees can get in during the day to do the pollination. The disadvantage is you're running a lot of extra water into your field. Can cause issues with increased disease pressure and so forth. Not necessarily, but it can. So that's the pros and the cons for that. The pros for row covers, you're not up all night. Generally, unless you're pulling covers all night, you pull them on.
You tend to not sleep very well anyway because you're worried about it.
Anyway, you pull the covers on, and but the bad part is you can't always just pull them off. It's not like just cutting down your sprinkler system. So we had a couple nights with frost, and then we had a day when they weren't needed and maybe a rain event, and then another like a day later when they were. So like it's not ideal, but it makes sense labor wise. Okay, you got the covers on. You're not just going to pull them off for one day. And I mean, you could do that for 1 or 2 or an acre or something, but 5 acres, you're probably not going to want to pull them on and off. So, like I said, the bad thing with covers is wind. Once you get up over 20 miles an hour, the wind kind of beats on the covers, and it's a lot of surface area, and they kind of sit out there and slap on the strawberries. Usually, if you're under 20 miles an hour, it's you're going to get some. They call it mechanical damage to your plant.
It's just the kind of the up and down.
It's just
of
the constant motion and beating on the plant. Yeah. It's it can actually hurt the blooms. It can break off some leaves. It's just, I don't know. It makes the plant look kind of weathered and ragged. So I don't know. I just always like getting the covers out of the field and getting the plants, getting them to grow upright and kind of grow through that stage. So anyway, with them being on that long, we definitely got some mechanical damage. This time, but hopefully it's not really. I don't think it does a lot of damage to the plant production end of things necessarily.
They just look a little bit more ugly.
And it probably is a broken off petioles and leaves and stuff it can be a place maybe where you could get some disease pressure. But anyway, so that was Saturday morning or Sunday morning, and then things dried out, and we were able to roll up a bunch of covers. So we actually have almost all the covers out of the field now. Like you mentioned, it is April 24th, and we're hoping that we are done with frost for the year. Should be.
I think just kind of talking a little bit about how the weather has a really major effect on things. When we last recorded, we were surmising that we might be opening the 25th, which is tomorrow.
Right.
Now we're thinking it might be almost a week till we're able to open.
Yeah, it's just really things have kind of ground to a halt. I mean, they're slowly, the berries, like they're a bunch of green berries, and they're slowly getting some size on them, but goodness, it's taking a while. And
it's not so much the frost; it's just the
it's just been cool,
extended cool weather.
Our daytime highs are in the 60s, night times dropping. Well, the frosty nights are down in the 30s, but 40s frequently, and you're just not getting the heat that you need to push the crop. So we are picking the early variety. We've been picking that for a couple.
Sweet Charlies.
Probably 10 days or
something like
maybe
that.
A little longer than that. That's actually yielding very well. We're getting really nice berries off of that. The next variety that comes in, the Albions, we're just starting to see some color in there. We're going to have to start picking those in a couple of days. And I've seen a couple Chandlers turning, but most of the field is still just a little bit behind those others. So those are the indicator varieties, I guess, and then the Chandlers are coming along. But things definitely slowed down.
We're hoping to open within a week or so, and I don't know, you don't have any sort of idea how long a season we're looking at this year?
I would think it's a pretty typical season, probably running into June a little bit.
5-6 weeks.
I think it looks, there's good, we've had bloom set for quite a period of time, so that, you extrapolate that out for a month, from the blooms, and you should have berries, so they're still blooming nicely, so you should have berries in a month, which would be the end of May. So I'm pretty sure we'll roll on into June a little ways with this one, trying to really pump the water to them right now and the fertilizer, and grow them and get some size on them, and get a good balanced fertilizer in there to make them nice and sweet.
It sounds like a busy 4, 5, 6 weeks here, so
it's already starting to feel like strawberry season. Lots to do. And we talked maybe last podcast, we were wondering about coronavirus and everything that was going on and how that would affect things. Well, it's really affected Well, I mean, it if it's affected anything, it has increased demand
Yeah.
for the products that we sell. Like once we started selling berries in the store, goodness, it's been
Yeah, as soon as we had
difficult
some in the
keeping
store, it's
the store stocked.
Yeah.
The tomatoes have been flying out the door, so yeah, demand has been very strong, which we're
Yeah.
grateful for, and lots of calls about pick your Aaron, and I think that'll be good demand for that as well.
Yeah, we've seen some folks down east and some other farms we follow or know of. They are also experience a lot of demand.
Yeah,
Experiencing
stronger
a lot of
than
demand.
normal, it seems like.
Yeah.
I guess that's probably due to maybe people being at home and looking for an activity to do. And then I think there's just a lot of hunger right now for fresh local produce that you know where it comes from and kind of what the chain has been in its production.
Yeah.
And then I think there's kind of a attitude to try and help local business right now too, and it's probably a combination of all those things. How's that going for you there, Eldon?
Well, I think we might have
You're
a third
babysitting.
host here soon.
Yeah, sure enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much where things stand. We're kind of right here at the cusp of strawberry season. And what else do you want to discuss?
I don't really think there's not a whole lot new other than what we've kind of covered already. There's always more to do than there is time to do it, but that's pretty much our every podcast kind of thing. So Breesa's here jumping off of things and
every 3-year-old in the middle of the recording studio walking over the iPads that we're going to be using to at our sales points is just kind of a disaster. Maybe we should
we
shut
should probably
it
just
down.
kind of wrap up here.
Yeah. Anyway, it's
we did mention a little bit about the COVID-19 and everything. Just thought if people are interested in what we're doing differently this year, we do have a list of things over on our website. If you go to the strawberry page, it's linked from there. So if you're interested in that, you can find that.
Yeah, it's basically what we talked about before, the volume pricing. And these procedures seem to be pretty standard on farms in North Carolina and Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, there are guidelines from the Virginia Department of VDAX. I forget what it all stands for.
Yeah.
I think consumer services or something.
Probably something like that.
Anyhow, so yep. All right, let's wrap this up. And I guess thank you all for listening. If you've made it this far, if you're interested in anything, all the information about us is over at yodersfarm.com. And thanks for listening. We'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks. You want to say something?
Bye.
That works. See you, everybody.